Who are you? What do you want?
Klaus Hergersheimer, G-section. Just checking on radiation shields. Now, let me see. You are...
Professor Dr. Metz. Our shields are fine. Now get out.
Well, I'm sorry. It won't take a moment, but I must verify. Metz. How do you spell it?
Will you please leave, you irritating man?
Doctor, there's no reason to run down the little people. G-section may not be as important to the operation as you are, but well, we do have our orders.
Dr. Metz, will it wait for you?
Right. Out. Hello, WW. Yes, it's finally here. Oh, quite enough for completion. We'll be through shortly. No problems at all. Right. Now, will you get out of here?
Certainly, Doctor. I've seen everything I need to see. Thank you very much.
Hi, sorry to bother you. I'm Klaus Hergersheimer. G-section. Checking radiation shields.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
Shaken, but not stirred.
007 reporting for duty.
These are the 00 files.
Welcome to the 00 Files. This is our second film review in our podcast series. We are here in the beautiful city of Eindhoven, where we will review Diamonds Are Forever. My name is Tyler, I will be your host for today, and I'm joined by my three fellow Bond aficionados. Anthony, we are here at your kitchen table, or dining table actually, so I will start off with you. Please introduce yourself and answer the question of the month. Who is your favorite henchman?
My name is Anthony, as you just said, and my most favorite henchman, I can just make a sound and then you know who to be. He's the most iconic henchman there is. It's our job, of course. I love him. He is everything a henchman needs to be. He's silent, he's strong, he's a bit funny. He has his own little tune in the movie.
How is he funny?
The way he smiles. I like the way he smiles. He enjoys life.
He just looks so oblivious to everything that happens.
Remember the smile he shows when Bond drove the Aston Martin into the wall and he sees the mirror and hanging
and the
there.
same thing when Bond hits him in the face the first time. Just no reaction, just a smile.
I love our job. He's my all-time favorite henchman.
Martin.
I am Martin, and my favorite henchman has got to be Jaws.
Jaws, you obey me.
He's so cool. He's huge. He's got steel teeth. He's indestructible. He's stupid. Let's just put it like that. He's just got jam for brains, but he's so cool and menacing. And especially in the first few scenes, it's great. I mean, the man kills a shark with his teeth. How much cool can you get?
Do you also like him in Moonraker?
Not as much. He's a bit too much played for laughs. Especially in The Spy, he's very menacing, very cool.
You like his girlfriend?
I'll just say nothing on that subject for fears of my girlfriend listening to this podcast. So
that leaves me, right? I'm Dom, and my favorite henchman is a henchwoman, in fact. I'm going to choose Xenia Onatop.
You think you can break me?
She is very sexy. She likes a good squeeze. She likes to ventilate people. She's completely crazy. She's Dutch, so she's keeping the Dutch end up, so to speak. And I don't know, I just think she's like a mad woman and very well portrayed. Yeah, I'm genuinely scared of her and also a bit intimidated and attracted to her as well. Yeah, it's strange.
Strange combination of
very
feelings,
strange.
huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we start with our film review, I'll just have to tell you my favorite henchman as well. My favorite henchman is also a henchwoman. However, her name is Fiona Volpe.
But of course.
course. I forgot your ego, Mr. Bond. James Bond, who only has to make love to a woman and she starts to hear heavenly choir singing. She repents and immediately returns to the side of right and virtue. But not this one.
Also sexy as hell, beautiful, menacing, funny in a quirky sort of way. I don't know. She might be the best thing there is about Thunderbolt, but we'll get to that in a...
Do you like wild things, Mr. Bond, James Bond?
I'll be back in a sec. All right. So what I will be doing today during this podcast, I will pose you guys 7 trivia questions along the way, related, sometimes very loosely related to this movie. And please give me a chance to finish my question before shouting the answer. If you know the answer, call out your name. I will give you a chance to answer it. If your answer is correct, you will score a point. If it's wrong, the next person can give it a try, and the winner is the one who has the most points at the end of this podcast.
Is there a prize
and the
attached to
loser
this?
has to
Of course, there is a prize along the way.
Cool.
And at the end, there's also a prize because the winner can randomly pick the next movie for our next film review podcast. So here we go. Diamonds Are Forever. Let's start with the cast and crew. James Bond is played by Sean Connery. We have Jill St. John, who plays Tiffany Case. Charles Gray as Blofeld. Lana Wood as Plenty O'Toole. Jimmy Dean as Willard White. And we have our great henchmen, Putter Smith and Bruce Glover as Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wind. And Joseph Furst as Dr. Metz. The story is by Richard Maybaum and Tom Mankiewicz, directed by Guy Hamilton, production design by Ken Adam, and the music is, of course, by John Barry. So, a quick plot summary. Sean Connery returns as James Bond in Diamonds Are Forever. The movie starts with Bond thwarting the attempt of his arch-nemesis Ernst Stavro Blofeld to create a double of himself. Bond fights Blofeld and kills him by throwing him face first into a pool of boiling mud. Ernst Stavro Blofeld is dead. Or is he? After the beautiful title song by Dame Shirley Bassey, we see a very bored James Bond and a very grumpy M discuss diamonds. Bond is sent to Amsterdam, where he meets diamond smuggler Tiffany Case, fights Peter Franks, and is shadowed by this film's henchmen, Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wind. Bond goes to Las Vegas, where he is almost cremated alive, has a run-in with the police and steals a moonbuggy to escape from a couple of goons. He finds out that the smuggled diamonds are being used by Ernst Stavro Blofeld, who is very much alive, to create a space laser. Blofeld poses as the reclusive millionaire Willard White, who is the owner of a Las Vegas casino, a Tektronix department and several other business ventures. Bond fights Blofeld and his men on an oil rig off the coast of Baja. The whole place blows up, and Bond and Tiffany end up enjoying each other's company on a cruise ship. Everything seems well until Mr. Wind and Mr. Kidd arrive to take one last shot at our heroes. Of course, the heroes prevail, and credits roll. Alright, here we go. We start off with a gun barrel and a pre-title sequence. Sean Connery is back, and we get a pretty weird pre-title sequence, in my opinion. We start in Japan. We see Bond questioning different people about the whereabouts of Ernst Stavro Blofeld. So my first question to you guys is, I've always had the idea that the producers want us to forget about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There's no reference to Tracy in the entire movie. We start in Japan. What do you guys think?
This is not a trivia question.
This is not a trivia question. No,
not a
this
trick
is
question.
I was already sweating.
I don't know the answer to this one. Are we going to pass on the gun barrel?
No. We'll get to that in a minute. But just
No, I don't think so, actually. Well, maybe for this film they wanted to, but I mean, in later films we do have the references to Tracy, etc., etc. So I don't think they. Well, as you said, maybe for this movie they just wanted to get along with it, but. Overall, I don't think they really want to.
I did get the You Only Live Twice vibe, though, with the very first shot and the peaceful
it could have been,
wall.
yeah.
It was almost Henderson's room from You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, I think they really want to forget about Majesties at the moment because they want to say, back to business, Connery is back again, and, let's start in Japan. Let's start very last finished off and forget about Majesties.
Well, it's also a bit, I mean, if you think about what Bond is doing, he's trying to find Blofeld. Well, he last saw him in Japan, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in Connery's film,
Actually, that does make sense. Now that I think
All right, so let's get back to the gun barrel. What do you think of the gun barrel, Anthony?
Well, someone last asked me what was my favorite gun barrel, and I decided to pick the one from Diamonds.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay.
And my main reason is the score you hear here from John Barry. sounds absolutely so cool.
It's a bit haunting. Don't you think?
Haunting.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. It has a bit of an eerie feel to it in a very cool way.
Yeah, it sounds a bit rough as well. I
was
think.
gonna say,
I don't
the
know.
first note is a bit off key. It seems.
Yeah, but especially when you hear the guitar a bit, it sounds really rough and edgy.
It's very cool.
And it's, in my opinion, it's my most favorite gun barrel.
But you get the wobble. You get the Sean
Yeah,
wobble.
but it's the sound. It's the
I
John Barry
love-
sound. It's
True.
never better
It
than
is
him.
fantastic music.
Yeah,
being
so
John
he
Barry.
wobbles and okay.
But why did they use the same one as he did for Thunderball?
Maybe Connery was lazy.
He was paid by the minute in this movie, so I think that's the reason why it shows.
Okay, yeah.
And he had a belly as well in this movie, so they probably said, let's just use the old one.
Dinner jacket didn't fit anymore.
What
Okay.
about you guys? Anything else to add, Don?
I had the same thing. I had fantastic music. Sean walks in black and white. That's it. Not my favorite. I don't actually think Sean was that good at the gun barrel. Well, he only had the one, but yeah.
It has sort of a sheen to it. This one. It has a bit of a glimmer. I don't know.
Well, you mean the gun barrel itself?
Yeah.
Didn't notice it. But.
So what do you think of the pre-title sequence, especially the part in the mud factory?
Well, I was going to say we see Sean killing a man by dropping what looks like a sort of mashed potato mix on top of his head.
Making mud pies.
Yeah, it just looks very weird. I think the thing that bothers me a bit about this movie is that some parts really feel very rushed, and this one as well, it feels very poorly choreographed, the fight with Blofeld. It's just... Like, Bond hits him with the big studio lamp or whatever it is, and he just, oh no, I've been hit. And he just ragdolls for a minute, just complete limbs.
Yeah.
It's just very weird. I think weird is the word I'm going to use a lot for this movie, but this is a very weird scene for me. It's not very good acting. It's a bit...
I do like the scene prior to the mud pie contest
definitely.
with Marie.
Yeah.
And I always thought, wow, sometimes I find it so difficult to get these bras, to open them. And the way he does it, that's really fast and really cool.
The man can do it.
What I noticed is that
the willpower.
If you now look back, it's been 50 years or something, and most people really reappreciate Majesties. And amongst fans, at least, it's considered one of the best Bond fans, usually. And then they round up the entire story of Majesties in these 5 minutes. And you go in 5 minutes from Japan to Cairo, where you have an Egyptian with a fez and sunglasses on in a casino. Doesn't make any sense, but names a girl called Marie. Like there's only one Marie in the entire world, but Bond finds her immediately. And then we get the entire mud bath scene, and it's all in 5 minutes. It's so crammed in there. It goes so quickly. And that's it. That's the whole story arc of Majesties. The Blofeld vengeance or revenge on Blofeld is wrapped up.
Yeah,
and that just makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's very rushed. It's
so disappointing.
Yeah, but just back to business. Let's forget about the last one. Connery is back.
Yeah, no, but like I watched. This is one of the few films I actually watched in order. Like when I could actually get them in order. So I watched Majesties and then Diamonds. So I was so hoping for a big gritty down to, and then it's like the first thing I was exclaiming when I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
This is it. What?
I totally agree. I think one of the biggest losses out of the entire Bond franchise is the fact that Lazenby did not make a second Bond film.
Oh, amen.
This segues nicely into one of the things I would like to discuss. So Sean Connery was lured back with a record-setting salary. He really didn't have any other motivation to be there, and to me it showed. George Lazenby starred in the movie prior to Diamonds Are Forever. Roger Moore in the movie directly following Diamonds Are Forever. So in an ideal world, which of those three actors would you have liked to play Bond in Diamonds Are Forever?
Yeah, I thought about your question. And if the movie itself would remain the same, so if Diamonds Are Forever would be the movie as we know it, then just stick with Connery. However, if it would be Lazenby returning for a second film, I would really like to see it as a gritty revenge story, a realistic film in which Lazenby is going after, the man who killed his wife. That's in an ideal world. That's what I would have liked to see.
Don, you have anything to add? You'd also like to see a Lazenby trilogy, even?
Yeah, that's what I wrote in preparation of this podcast. Yeah, I think you should give the man a chance to grow into the role. We have talked about this earlier, and I think most of us believe that out of Majesty's, Lazenby was maybe the weakest link in the film himself, but we can discuss that when we get to that film. Anyway, wouldn't it be wonderful after Majesty's if they could have continued in the same tone and maybe combine some of the plot of Diamonds and the original novel You Only Live Twice into a storyline that could continue into a trilogy, and then round off his whole story arc and then continue after that trilogy with a new actor and a new clean slate, maybe Roger Moore with Live and Let Die, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would have liked. Yeah.
Okay. Martin?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Lazenby camp. I think the man does not deserve all the hate he gets for Majesty's. And like, just imagine the very first, one of the very first lines Sean says is "Welcome to Hell, Blofeld." I can just see Lazenby with his rage and anger saying that after killing the man who was semi-responsible for killing his wife. So I really think it's one of the biggest wasted opportunities, as you said, Anthony, of the entire franchise, not seeing Lazenby return.
That being said, though, I mean, there's a lot of backlash at Sean Connery in this film, that he looks old and he looks, like you said...
He is.
Well, yeah, he is. So don't blame him because he is getting older, I think. He's out of shape, people say that. But what I first notice now is when you look at him when he walks up to Marie, is he still got that twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, that's just the dollar signs reflecting.
No, I disagree with you. I think Connery on screen he's very professional and he really
I get what
he
you're
performed.
Saying, yeah. I mean, especially compared to, well, in my opinion, compared to You Only Live Twice, he just seemed to have a bit more fun. I mean, the film itself is a bit more lighthearted. You can see he's like more into it than he was in the last one. That might be because he was A, getting a crap load of money, and B, the work environment in America was probably a lot better than it was in Japan with all the paparazzi and all that stuff.
I do think that, and I'm a huge Connery fan, but I do think that Diamonds is his weakest performance in the franchise.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Maybe even worse than in Never Say Never Again, where he does look a bit older, but he's a bit more in shape here. In Diamonds he looks like a bit,
he's a bit saggy.
Yeah, a bit saggy, a bit like he just came out of retirement and he's not really
but like looks aside,
yet.
I think he's, I don't know, I quite like his, like what he does to the part in this film.
All right, we'll have a lot more opportunities to talk about the flabbiness of Sean Connery in this movie. Let's get on with Shirley Bassey's second James Bond theme, which is absolutely my favorite.
Hear, hear.
Diamonds are forever. They are all I need to please me. They can stimulate and tease me. They won't leave in the night. I've no fear that they might desert me. Diamonds are forever. Hold one up and then caress it. Touch it, stroke it and undress it. I can see every part. Nothing hides in the heart to hurt me. I don't need love. For what good will love do me? Diamonds never lie to me. For when love's gone, they'll last on.
It's a beautiful title sequence by Maurice Binder as well. All right, Martin, you agree with it with me that this is her best Bond theme?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's one of those songs which is quite funny. I never really liked it when I was a kid. I thought it was just a bit, bland. I mean, it was in between the instrumental on the Majesty's and Paul McCartney, so it's a bit of a tough match if you have to slit in between those two. But on its own, like, you get a bit older, you start to develop your own taste in music and stuff like that, and I really, really like it. It's got a nice pace to it. It starts off gently. It has that typical Shirley Bassey, big, bang, brassy, everything. It just is one belter of a song.
And of course, this song also gave us the opportunity to listen to the most amazing work of art in the history of works of art, Diamonds from Sierra Leone by Kanye West. And I say that... Well, never mind. And anything else to add? Any hate for this song?
No,
it's stable.
It's sexy, both lyrics and the sound. It's a haunting tune. It's great. Fits the film like a glove.
I agree. I think the song is excellent. I love the song, but I'm gonna disagree about the visuals. I think Binder's visuals are underwhelming. To me, he makes Diamonds even look cheap and colorless. What I wrote down here is, in this title sequence, there are not enough naked women, but we get too much pussy. So, yeah, it's
this
not
is
one of his
advanced
best.
humor for mature people right here.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Okay. Yeah, I do get your point. I do get your point. I do think the visuals do fit the music quite well. The music isn't too overwhelming, and so the visuals aren't either. But to each his own, I think. All right, after the amazing song, at least, we see Bond and M, who visits Sir Donald. And this might be M at his most annoyed. We see him very annoyed in The Man with the Golden Gun as well. In Live and Let Die, a bit annoyed too, but he's so grumpy here.
But it makes sense. He can't drink sherry.
Yeah. That's true.
I was going to say, he's responsible in a way for 007. I'd be very mad if I didn't have my drink as well. So.
Okay, so probably that's it. He's just having the jitters from.
But I do like the conversation between the two of them.
The Akbar Shah.
It remembers me also a bit of the same sequence, or less, from Goldfinger, when they have the briefing
regarding... I was going to say, it's again Bond, M, and an older expert.
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about stuff.
And then they're also, Bond and M are also...
talking about drinking,
talking about drinking and those kind of things.
You can hardly notice it's the same director and the same. Like they really try to go for back to the Goldfinger roots again. It's quite funny.
You see it in those kind of sequences, I think.
Okay, trivia time.
Ooh.
Get ready. So Sir Donald asks Bond about how much he knows about diamonds, and Bond refers to a song in his answer to Sir Donald. Name the performing artist and the title of the song.
I'm not going to say anything because I know the song, but I've got no idea who sang it. So.
I also know the title of the song, but
well, maybe if you combine your knowledge, I have no idea. I was hoping you were asking for the year of the.
Can you give a male or female artist?
She is probably the definition of female.
Am I going to go? What's it? Marilyn Monroe.
It is.
Diamonds Are Girl's Best Friend.
Yes.
Hey.
Chalk it up to Martin.
Well done.
Huzzah,
well
huzzah.
done.
Okay.
All right. So, indeed, Bond is referring to,
talk about Bond girls.
It probably replaces the dog as a girl's best friend. So, yeah. All right. I said, loosely, sometimes very loosely related to this movie. So, Bond is being sent to Amsterdam, and we also meet our henchmen, Mr. Wind and Mr. Kidd. Amazingly creepy henchmen. Right? To me, they are very memorable. Maybe the most memorable part of this movie. They didn't come around in our favorite henchman question just now, but
I do like them though. I agree with you, Tyler. They are really creepy. It's such an odd couple when you see them. It's a shame though, because the build-up for these characters is quite good. It's a shame though that the final sequence and when they fight against Bond is such a terrible scene. We'll get to that later, of course.
They don't get a very good death.
No, it's a shame for those two iconic characters.
A bit of a waste.
But they have their own. What do you call that? If you have they have their own theme song.
Yeah,
it's like a motif.
Yeah,
it's a motif.
I really like it when the henchmen have their little tune in there. And it's also one of the few things they, literally copied from the characters from the book.
And until we meet Willard White, who turns out to be Blofeld himself, spoiler alert, they're actually more the villains of this movie. They get a lot of screen time along the way. We don't see Blofeld in the first hour of the movie, so they're not just henchmen, they're almost the villains of the movie. They really...
Yeah. I think that's very typical Spectre/Blofeld style, though. They really are doing all the dirty work for him. And they're killing everyone who touches the diamonds. They're following everyone. They really are doing everything he tells them to do. They're just.
But however, we never see them in the same room together. We never see Blofeld giving orders to Wind and Kidd. They're never.
No, but Blofeld is hiding out in his White House. Remember?
Yeah, but still, I know, but still, they go along their own route.
No,
Is it implied that they take orders from Blofeld?
Sort of. At least they wait for Bond at the bottom of the elevator.
Yeah, that's true.
In the White House.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I get what you mean. Like, if you don't know that Blofeld is going to be revealed later, they could very well be on their own.
That they're the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, they help the plot along. They are
Can I rewind slightly, go back for a bit? Because what I really liked about this film, you said that the lecture by Sir Donald was on diamonds. It could be a bit boring. What I liked is the way they use visual storytelling here. They intercut his scenes with actual footage from South Africa and the mining process and the whole dentist story. And then it nicely intercuts with Winter and Kid. And they run into Dr. Tynan.
Have you ever noticed that they repeat a part of his speech?
Airtight security system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He mentioned it twice in his voiceover.
And the funny
Sir
thing
Donald.
Yes.
No, I did not notice that. No.
And the funny thing is as well that the visual shows the exact opposite from what the guy is saying.
That's cool. That's very funny.
Staff of doctors, everything works under an airtight security system.
Yeah.
Well, no, it isn't.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
I was going to say, we see everything just going against what he just said. And at the end it says, of course, nothing is watertight.
What do you think of their first kill when they killed Dr. Tynan with the scorpion?
I really think it's a shame that they didn't use the alternative version where they just shoved the scorpion up the guy's mouth.
Yeah, that is
really
shame.
I can understand why they didn't use it, but it's delightfully evil.
The scene sets up the characters great. Well, I mean, they kill first the doctor and then
they blow up the helicopter.
They blow up the helicopter and then
and it's
the way they walk off into the desert.
Yeah, because I also, we probably have to just pinpoint, the fact that they are actually a couple in a film that is from 1971 is something that's always struck me as, well, I don't know, it just struck me, it's a very bold move to do it like that. And I also like the way it's very played down. They just, it's just like, well, here it is. You just state it as a fact instead of what they usually do in stuff like this. They like to overplay or really emphasize it, and it's just they're just crazy. They're killers, and they're together.
Yeah.
I watched this movie with my girlfriend a few days ago, and she has watched it a couple of times before this time, and she was like, I never realized they were gay. So, yeah, they do play it down quite a bit. For some reason, yeah, they're just creepy henchmen. Well, so be it. Time to go to Dover?
No. We haven't even been to Mrs. Whistler. With the
I can't pick every small scene,
but yeah, I like Mrs. Whistler. I mean, she's a nice little old lady
without a machine gun.
Without a machine gun, yeah, that's true. Without a machine gun, but she's. I wrote this down because this, for me, it's educational to learn some English. She says the U is for umbrella. We take it lest it rain. That's to me. It sounds like really old-fashioned English, isn't it? I don't know. We shan't want it till we're home again. And then she puts the diamonds inside a Bible. I thought that was a nice touch, a hollowed-out Bible, which is kind of nice. And then M explains, we're back to M, that the pipeline is being closed and there have been murders in Africa. And I love this quote because Bond said, I always wanted to go to South Africa.
Yeah, you're going to Holland.
Correct.
And
he gets mentioned, Peter Franks got mentioned. He has to go as Peter Franks, as a smuggler. And then he asked, do we know who his contacts are? And you get M's line, which is...
what is it again? This department functions without you being
we
something
do
like
function
that.
in your absence. Oh, that's great.
A little snappy one,
with the eyes up. Yeah, that's great.
The eye roll, yeah.
And then we get to Dover.
Yeah, I was going to say, great little scene with Moneypenny. Or is it just me? Yeah,
before they board
chemistry, yeah.
Who strengthens my conviction that we are forced to forget about On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because it's quite brutal to say to someone who has just lost his wife, can you bring me a diamond in a ring from Amsterdam? I think, if my wife had just died, I'd probably just punch her in the face if someone said that to me.
But then again, we don't know how much time has passed since the pre-title sequence. And
looking at his age, probably like 20 years.
It's probably still even...
They really want us to forget Majesties at this point.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, but it's one of your favorite scenes. The scene in Dover, Don.
Yeah, it is. I like the banter between Moneypenny and Sean. I think they have excellent chemistry, and I like the way this is like a very early one shot in cinema where you see Peter Franks walking into the little office, and then Moneypenny comes out, and the camera turns back to the car. It's a beautiful triumph,
Sean,
then suddenly Sean is in there, and they have a little nice dialogue. And well, of course, yeah, you're right. It's absolutely inappropriate to ask for a wedding ring, but then Bond asks, "Would you settle for a tulip?" And he just drives off.
And then there's a great Bond theme. I just have to mention it. Like, I went to England about a year ago, and when I got back onto the boat, I just had to play him in driving off. I mean, it's a shame it wasn't hovercraft, but it's just such a cool... It's a typical Bond thing. I mean, it's a hovercraft in the 70s. I even like them today. They're still...
A hovercraft is cool.
Yeah, they're still very cool.
Very
and then
cool.
just like, if you have to go, only just go over this tiny little bit of water, and let's just go in the bloody hovercraft.
They should make a pre-title sequence with hovercrafts.
You can have several hovercrafts.
Over
floating
oceans.
oceans, yeah.
That would be terrific.
Amazing.
Okay, write it down.
How about
let's send a
an
mail to
invisible hovercraft?
Wow, Tyler. Now you got me.
No, but the funny thing
Barbara,
is, like,
Michael?
like you said, a hovercraft was amazing at that time. I remember when I was very, very young, we once took a hovercraft during quite a big storm, actually, and I've never seen so many people puke at the same time as during that trip on that hovercraft. It was amazing. It was like...
That's not very Bondian.
Have you ever seen Guest House Paradiso? It was something like that. But I digress. Okay, let's get back. All right, we end up in Amsterdam. And of course, there is a trivia question here. However, please remember, if you know the answer, call out your name before giving the answer. What is the name of the canal cruiser we see?
Martin?
I know this.
It's the Prince Willem Alexander.
It is. Yes, it is. All right, Prince Willem Alexander.
I can still
Who
win.
is now our king, by the way.
I thought you were going to ask what the address is from Miss Case.
No,
I
but
thought
it's...
that as well.
The four of us are from the Netherlands, as you might have guessed. And this is actually the only time that Bond visits our little country. I think all of us have visited the locations, the Skinny Bridge and the Reguliersbreestraat, I believe.
Yeah, that's the street.
That's the one, right? So all of us have been there. Do you think it's a nice portrayal of Amsterdam that we see just a glimpse of it?
It's a bit short, but okay. It's a bit a typical touristic look of Amsterdam, I think.
Yeah,
Nothing more. I do think it's a shame, by the way, that Connery speaks German when we see him later.
Yeah, but that's
on.
a thing they do so much in other films. They even do it like today. Like, they all think German and Dutch are the same.
Yeah,
so.
it's a shame.
We're probably the only ones that realize it, though.
Yeah, but now
Yeah,
everybody knows.
Like, going back to the scene, I think, you know, like you always have a sort of establishing shot of where you are, and just having a tourist boat through a canal is very, you know, with the Skinny Bridge is very Amsterdam.
Why is it called the Skinny Bridge? They don't really explain it. It's just like, you have two sisters.
Yeah, they explain it.
They ran out of money. That's why it's called the Skinny Bridge.
Yeah, because...
Why is it called the Skinny Bridge? Because they ran out of money?
Yeah, because they didn't have any money to build it as wide as they would have wanted it.
It's a really crappy explanation.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't make any sense, but still.
Okay.
However, I think it's been almost 50 years since Bond visited the Netherlands. I think we're about due. Barbara, Michael, if you're listening, there are a couple of very nice places in the Netherlands that you might want to visit. There are 4 extras who really would like to be in one of your scenes.
Absolutely.
Just saying. I mean, we're here. We'll do it for free even. We'll even give you a tour. But I ask you, can you think of a place or a location that would fit well within the Bond franchise in one of the next Bond movies?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I had 2, like you asked this through email, so I had 2 options. One was the harbors of Rotterdam. I think that could be very cool, like maybe a pre-title scene, a bit of snooping around. I mean, in between just rows and rows and rows of containers and all that stuff, you know, and people and darkness and rain and everything. That could be very cool. Something we haven't seen for quite a while in a Bond film.
That would be fiction because it never rains here.
Noted. Another one I thought about is we all know probably the deleted scene of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the rooftop chase, which got cut. Only some pictures survive. And I think something like that. I mean, in The Hague, we have our House of Parliament. You also have, consulates, embassies, courtrooms, stuff like that. So I can really see a big foot chase, rooftop chase through The Hague. I think that could be very interesting.
All right, Don?
Recently with my family, I visited some forests and also some meadows were close by in a rural part of the Netherlands. And when I was walking there, it was a beautiful Sunday morning and the light was lovely. And I just thought that how awesome it would be if there was like a training exercise going on with Bond and a couple of other 00s. And they were running around in their uniforms or what do you call that? Army slacks, shooting at each other, paintballs, almost Living Daylight style. And then there would be a traitor amongst them. And Bond had to take care of the traitor. But it's not typical Dutch then, it could have been easily filmed in England, but
Yeah. Well, personally, I don't think our country has a typical location that has the Bond vibe that I would like to see in any of the movies. So no, for me, Amsterdam was okay, and then I can mention a dozen other locations, not in the Netherlands, but in other countries that I would like to see in a Bond film.
All right. So Bond visits Tiffany Case, who is a blonde. Oh no, a brunette. Oh no, wait, she's a redhead. They don't do anything with this setup. I thought they would have. The first time I saw this, I thought they were going to use her wigs along the movie, and she's going to dress up and.
They're actually gonna use one of the wigs, right, with the Lana Wood character, with the Plenty O'Toole.
Yeah, she just says, what's her wig doing in the pool? But
no, but originally she was going to go to the apartment to find Tiffany Case there. Tiffany wasn't home, so she would be fooling around with her wigs. Then the gangsters would find her there, thinking she was Tiffany Case, and kill her. That was originally the plan, I think. But then all of that got cut, and we just get the great line, as long as the
collars and cuffs match.
But I agree with you, Tyler. It would be cool if you would have seen Tiffany Case along, in the movie wearing her wigs. For instance, when she would be a blonde in the airplane, and then she would be a brunette walking down Las Vegas.
We get Blofeld seen wearing a wig.
Yeah, that's something else. That's something else.
There's this great scene in one of the first Gardner novels where the terrorist is a master of disguises. Who disguises himself in the toilet of an airport. I thought we might get something like that with Tiffany Case, but they didn't really go there. But we meet Tiffany Case, who is amazing, right?
Yeah, I really like her. I think she's quite a strong character, and she puts Bond in his place. I think they have good chemistry together. Jill St. John and Sean Connery.
The dialogue in this scene is also very great.
I really like the dialogue.
Witty,
I sometimes I use this line, but my wife always thinks it's completely inappropriate.
About the color center?
That's quite a nice little nothing you're almost wearing. I really like that one.
I really like that one as well.
That's really good.
But I don't really agree with you guys on the Tiffany Case character. I think she starts quite interesting as a tough lady, a smuggler. But along the movie progresses, she becomes less and less interesting as a character to me. And by the end, by the end of the movie, when we're on the oil rig, she's more a bimbo in a bikini.
I think she redeems herself a little after, even on the cruiser. With
the way she looks when one of the henchmen catches fire, and the way she throws the cake and those kind of things. No, she doesn't. No. And the way she holds the gun on the oil rig and she falls off.
I would probably do the exact same thing if I was holding a machine gun.
Yeah, but we're not in a Bond movie. She is.
Thankfully, I'm not a diamond smuggler.
They really set up the character great, I think, in the first few sequences. But later on in the movie, she becomes just a bimbo in a bikini, which is a shame, I think.
Any other opinions about Tiffany or about this scene? Bond is wearing fake fingerprints.
Yeah, those are really cool. I'd like to have those.
And it's amazing that she has this entire setup in her closet just in
I was
case
gonna say,
one smuggler shows up at her place and she has this.
Is it like a history of people pretending to be smugglers ringing her doorbell? What, like, it's just so random to have this huge machine in your clothes.
Isn't it great how Q always knows exactly
what he
what
bloody well wants
to compare?
Terrific.
I think that's great.
There is this sketch by Eddie Izzard, he's a great comedian who does a skit about Q and how amazing it is that he always knows what.
As a psychic,
Yeah, he's a psychic. He always gives him exactly what he bloody well wanted, right? Very lean. I can do the entire skit, but I won't. But it really, look it up. James Bond, Eddie Izzard. It's a great skit.
I like a very nuanced acting by Sean Connery, how he looks at his glass and sniffs the perfume.
Yeah,
he knows his prints are being
yeah.
checked.
Yeah.
So he's like one step ahead all the time. Yeah.
And in the end, we see when Bond is on the telephone with Q, we see the Aston Martin DBS
in the background.
I think so. Yeah, there's two actually, a red one as well.
But it's being.
You guys hadn't noticed? Yeah, there are two Astons in the back. I think one is supposed to. So I'm not sure if we are or are not supposed to forget about Majesty's, but it very much looks like Bond's wedding Aston there.
Yeah. And he's putting in new missiles, right?
Bullet holes and all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's putting in missiles where there's supposed to be an engine. So I'm like, is that really a rocket car or what's going on? But
I do think that one of the strengths of this film are the one-liners.
Yeah, Tom Mankiewicz does a great job with that.
Yeah, I was like I said, the dialogue in this film really is very, very funny, very witty, very.
If you look at the other collaborations between Guy Hamilton and Tom Mankiewicz, is this like the first part of their trilogy where you get Diamonds and then Live and Let Die and then Man with the Golden Gun? I think they're quite similar tone-wise as films. You can.
I think Diamonds Are Forever is the more movie of all the Bond movies. I mean, this would suit Roger Moore's Bond so well.
I was just thinking about what you said, like about the wig stuff. I mean, the eyebrow raiser we would see every time Tiffany had another wig on. That is a bit of a missed opportunity.
But I think they.
I can see your point.
Tone-wise, they're very much alike. Yeah. All right, but Q is on the telephone with Bond, and Q tells Bond that Peter Frank has escaped.
Immediately, Bond goes to Tiffany.
Of course, because Franks is in Amsterdam. Connery Bond is enjoying his own company, waiting out.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
waiting outside to be able to do that. Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
Well, I
all?
can't do it right now. This is an audio podcast, so unfortunately you can't enjoy us snogging ourselves.
But, we've been trying this for the last few hours.
And then you get the German speaking.
Who is your floor?
I speak English.
Guten Abend.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
There's also this weird little thing which always bugged me a little bit. I mean, he says Peter Franks, she says third floor. I'm like, you just met the guy earlier this afternoon. Wouldn't he know what floor is yours?
Well, actually, we have those kind of flats close by where I live, and if you ring the doorbell, you get the same answer every time. Doesn't matter.
No, okay. No. That's just me then.
Yeah.
Bond indeed speaks German and fights Peter Franks in the elevator. Anthony, this is one of your favorite scenes.
Yes.
What makes this fight so amazing?
Two big guys in a small room basically sums up what makes this scene so amazing. And what I really like is the beginning of the fight scene where Bond is standing behind Franks and then he really wants to punch the guy. So he puts his arm back and then he accidentally hits the glass behind him.
And the guy instantly reacts. It's frantic and just like you said, this big small confined space. It's a bit reminiscent maybe in the way it's shot of From Russia with Love. Two big guys just using every single inch of that small room.
Yeah, that's
very cool.
Yeah, that's right, Martin. That's what I like about the sequence. The fact that it is in such a small room and they're really, punching each other really hard, and Peter Franks looks like a tough guy, and Bond, of course, is a tough guy. So it's a cool sequence.
Elevator security has taken quite a leap forward since 1971.
Thankfully
because the thing is dangerous. I mean, you can have your head cut off. You can fall in between the elevator and the floor itself. Well, anyways, again, I digress. I can do this for hours. So Bond switches identities with Peter Franks. Tiffany is convinced that James Bond has been killed.
James Bond.
Exactly.
So how does she know, as a diamond smuggler, how does she know the great James Bond?
I was going to turn it around. And if a small sort of local diamond smuggler knows who you are, how can you be a good spy? But I'll just leave that to...
And then
Yeah, but you see
Peter
that-
Franks, within quotation marks, James Bond, knows James Bond too.
Yeah, but that's
Supposedly.
you see that in more Bond films. You remember, and You Only Live Twice, when they say only one man uses a Walter PPK.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
He's such an iconic character, not just for us, but for
Did you see
villains all
what
over the
card
world.
they use as an identification?
Yes,
Yeah, of
Playboy
course.
card, isn't it?
Playboy
Yeah.
card.
Nice little nod. Nod back to the... Was it the original... Was it like the original comics or the original stories were published in
a few
Playboy?
short
Like
stories.
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
short
yeah,
stories,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's a nice little thank you.
All right, so Bond travels to Los Angeles using Peter Franks' corpse as a vehicle to smuggle the diamonds. So Bond travels to Los Angeles together with Tiffany, and Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd are there as well. And in LA, we meet this film's Felix Leiter. Any opinions on this iteration of Felix?
He's so cuddly. He looks like a teddy bear to me. I really like him.
All right, not the word I was expecting, but I was going to say very bland, but I want to rewind like really 2 seconds to that soundtrack. When the second they get into LA, it's so sleazy
It
and
is
jazzy
sleazy,
and
yeah.
cool. That
Fits
for
the
me is
location.
one of the highlights for me. This very arrival scene.
Okay,
And
so
I
we've
think
got cuddly and bland.
Yeah.
Anthony.
And I want to add a bit something like that. I think they saw that Connery was not really in shape, so they decided, okay, then for Leiter we need to have an actor who is even less in shape than Connery is.
All right.
They succeeded.
Yes, yes, they did. I do like the fact that they always have to really call out the name Felix Leiter so that we as an audience know that, oh, this guy is Felix Leiter, is this movie's Felix Leiter. It's like, oh, Felix Leiter, you're all fraud.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this one is the one. He's going to America and we need a Felix Leiter, so apparently it's this one in this movie.
I wonder if there's like a Felix Leiter Inc., like where you can hire Felix Leiters.
Yeah, probably.
What do you think of the little Winter and Kid scene in the plane where
I wanted to mention
this
it.
Kid,
It's a cool sequence.
Kid is like, oh, Miss Case looks quite attractive. And you
No,
get
and
that
then Wint is
look,
like,
that
Wint.
Wint
Oh, yeah.
looks
And then
so
jealousy.
menacing, so
that little
jealous.
giggle, that Kid.
Yeah, for a lady.
They're just like, you do know I'm
so
joking, right?
awkward. It's so
It's an awkward
awkward.
scene.
Oh, it's so creepy.
The funny thing is that if you see an interview with Potter Smith nowadays, he's not playing any
No,
part
he's just
whatsoever.
himself,
He's just
probably.
himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't an actor and he still isn't. And he's just...
It's
he
just
does
like
it
Potter
so
Smith.
well.
Sometimes I
Mr.
also
Wint.
think about this little sequence. That they almost look like they're just improvised. That there was no just that the director said, just go
Do
and sit there
something.
and say something you would say normally.
And
then
for
he
some
does.
reason, they are very natural together. I
Yeah.
really like the two of them. In LA, we also meet the slumber goons, as I call them.
I
And-
got a brother.
Exactly. And
stiff.
the brother guy.
Deceased.
In the pre-title sequence, we see a guy. I believe it's the same
With
actor.
the sideburns?
Exactly, the guy with the sideburns.
Mr. Sideburn.
I believe it's the same actor. So are we led to believe that Bond killed the brother of one of the slumber goons, of the one in the hearse?
No, then he would have said, I had a brother.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't know that
Maybe he
he's
doesn't know.
he's
Maybe
dead
they're
yet.
both are working for Blofeld. Maybe they
I
were
know, I
twins.
never realized it's the same guy.
I
same
was-
age.
he doesn't-
Is it or do they just look alike?
I believe it's the same actor. I should look it up, but
Yeah, we
That's an
probably
interesting
should.
but they look quite alike. Maybe it's just the sideburns, but I don't know.
And the thing I like the most about this scene is that everyone is like acting or non-acting. Like they're all know from each other that they're just keeping up this very thin role. It's so obvious. They all know they're not who they say they are.
So we visit Slumber Inc., where the diamonds are being taken out of Peter Franks' body before he's cremated, or while he's being cremated.
And
we
I just
meet-
love Mr. Slumber. Is that like I really like that
Really
guy.
good
He's
casting,
so
yeah.
untrustworthy, but in a very nice and likable way. I don't
yeah,
know.
I think that the
That
Diamonds
creepy
has
little smile.
quite a lot of small character roles
Yeah.
that are played quite well and are all a bit quirky in their own
Yeah,
Sounds
I
good.
wrote that down as
colourful,
well.
yeah.
In the entire Bond franchise, we have those very memorable bit parts. We had the taxi driver in Live and Let Die. Last time we were recording a podcast. Now we have Morton Slumber. We have Plenty O'Toole, Professor Dr. Metz.
They're all people who have very small roles, but they do a lot with it.
Yeah,
they're very
it's
memorable.
amazing. It's amazing, he is such a slimy funeral director who's obviously in on the whole scheme, but keeps up appearances for some reason, like ashes to ashes.
I was gonna say, it just looks like he really enjoys doing what he does, and he just like thrilled to be in on this little conspiracy in smuggling. And
the way Bond is sitting there on the most uncomfortable chair.
I love that.
He's there like
It's that. Oh, I love that awkward silence.
That tension.
And you're just waiting there. You have nothing to say. And I had to write this down because I couldn't remember it. But then Bond takes the urn into the Garden of Remembrance.
Yeah, which
into
is
a private
chartreuse
niche,
curtains.
the one with the restful chartreuse curtains and the angel's breath gold trim. It's like, what is that?
Who wrote this? Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh,
I also love that Bond, like they have a line of coffins, like where your brother probably would have liked that you chose these slumber line coffins and all of that. It's so, it doesn't make any sense, but it's just great bit of dialogue.
All right, so Bond is knocked over the head by Winton Kidd. He's placed in a casket. They close the lid. This is the last scene they shot in this movie.
How very poetic.
Yeah, exactly. Connery in a casket with the lid being closed. It's poetic justice, maybe. But anyway, Bond is about to be cremated, accompanied by the beautiful funeral music, in parentheses, by John Barry. But Shady Tree saves James Bond because the diamonds that they retrieved from the body...
Goddamn diamonds are phony.
Yeah, exactly. They are fake. Bond says that he will get them the real diamonds as soon as he gets the real money. How does Bond know that they didn't just take the money from him while he was unconscious?
The script said he would.
I don't know, but I just want to get back to the moment he lies in the coffin and sets a fire, and you hear the berry sound. It's really a cool scene.
It's haunting.
I was going to say, as a kid, how do you get very uncomfortable?
And it's also one of those few moments, I think, in the entire franchise, I think, not sure he's going to get out of here alive.
Nope.
He doesn't have a gadget he can use. There's no way out.
He also really doesn't do anything to save himself.
What can you do?
Nothing, but usually Bond is the one who saves himself or has done something that he's about to be saved by either a lady or whatever. But this time he's in the hands of Shady Tree who saves him.
This is also the first time that I get a few question marks about the plot, because it's Shady Tree who saves Bond. So Shady knows he's put in the casket. So he knows that Winton Kidd are cleaning up the pipeline. So he's in on the whole, we're going to close down the pipeline plot, and I'm probably next, but I'm going to meet with Winton Kidd anyway.
But he doesn't know that they're closing down the pipeline.
Yeah, I was going to say, because...
They just want to kill that guy?
They just want to kill
Peter Franks?
Peter Franks, and we don't know why. Shady doesn't know why.
It leaves a question mark.
Well, I think what's his name says it later in the film. Like they need Tree alive, so like he knows he's vital to the whole plot point. So I don't think he really fears for his life because he knows he's needed for the entire operation.
Yeah, but it leads me to assume that he knows Winton Kidd.
He does, I think.
He doesn't recognize them after his show when they walk into his backstage room and they want to give him. I don't know. It becomes a bit.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
That's weird. That is weird.
But as we go along, there will be more question marks.
On the other hand, we're 30 minutes in, and this is really the first time that you question the plot, which just for a Bond movie isn't that bad of a score. 30 minutes in.
It's not that bad. Pretty decent, actually.
Yeah, pretty decent. Well done, Tom.
As we were rewinding, can I just this is one of them small little one-liners I really like. There's so
You mean the one from Shady?
No, just the Mr. Winton, Mr. Kidd one. No,
Very moving.
Heartwarming tribute, all that stuff. It's so the puns are terrible, but they're very good at the same time.
All right, it's trivia time. This time with a special prize.
Fuck.
Here we go.
Come on, Anthony.
Again,
We can do it.
Call out your name if you know the answer. Let's see. Bond is about to visit Las Vegas and says that he's about to visit a hotel where he thinks it's going to be quite comfortable. What is the hotel he's staying at?
Martin.
Anthony.
Martin was first.
Oh,
sorry.
damn.
I'm very sorry.
It's a Tropicana, I think.
It is, yeah.
Yay.
It is. I'm sorry, guys.
That's 3-0.
That's 3 in a row. Okay,
My name is too long. That's my problem.
Just make it Tony.
Just make it Ton. Anyways, I have a special prize for this one. I visited.
Oh dear.
I visited Las Vegas not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and I brought you a pack of Tropicana casino-used Tropicana playing cards.
Thank you.
Which it was a souvenir that I found, and I thought,
You should
well,
put a picture up on our Instagram.
Oh yeah, that definitely.
I will.
Yeah.
However, of course, I brought one
You
for
knew I was going to suck at this trivia game, didn't you? I got my own pack of cards.
And it isn't even Christmas yet.
I brought
Thank
a
you.
pack for you as well. I thought it
Thank
was
you.
the only real Bondian
That's very nice to have.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
souvenir
Thank
that
you,
I could
Tyler.
find. However, and I got to thinking, I really like Las Vegas. I enjoyed myself a lot during my last visit. And it's really a place where you can visit a lot of Bond locations if you know where to find them. Because and next to all the locations from Diamonds Are Forever, you can also go to Venice. And when you visit the Venetian, you can go to New York, at New York, so you can visit a few of the Live and Let Die locations. But maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I digress. Anyways.
Are we still with Bond in the hot tub?
Yeah, no, we end up with Bond, who is indeed quite comfortable at the Tropicana, having a bath while talking on the phone to Felix. He really needs to get those diamonds fast, and while leafing through a magazine, Bond sees the pretty face of Shady Tree, who has a comedy show in Las Vegas. And it's time for our fourth trivia question.
Ooh, okay.
And here we go.
Oh man.
All right, so Shady Tree is performing.
You can't participate, Martin.
No, until
suck at this.
yeah, you have to wait until one of the other ones has 3 points as well. At what venue does Shady Tree performs? Hotel and location.
I can guess. Dom. I don't. Is it the hotel? Is it the White House?
It is.
And the location? Oh, it's like the something room.
Yeah.
Oh,
more or less.
Yeah. Help me out here. I don't know.
It's the Lincoln Lounge.
Oh, yeah, shit.
The Lincoln Lounge.
Yeah. However,
you knew that.
You knew the White House, so I'll probably.
Can I get half a point?
You'll just get one because this is going nowhere fast. All right.
Can I just quickly say that when Bond is on the phone, he with Felix, Felix mentioned that. Now picture this: Q just arrived with the real diamonds. Picture this: Q going through customs, smuggling diamonds. How weird would that be?
Probably just
It's a shame
diplomatic
it's
bag.
not in the movie. Now you mention it.
I'd like to see
I would
that,
have
wouldn't you?
liked to see
Q in
the
shorts.
scene, yeah.
Coming through
Of course,
customs.
Q in shorts. Yeah.
Where would he put them? Where would he hide them?
Like I said, probably just a diplomatic bag.
Elementary.
Why would he smuggle? It doesn't make any sense.
Elementary, Dr. Don.
Okay.
They don't say he smuggles the diamonds in.
But how did
He
you
bring-
get them in?
Diplomatic bag.
Exactly, that's what I want to say. as well.
Maybe he has like an invisible box or something he can put them in.
The same way he brought a little Nelly to Japan, I
there you
think.
go. Yeah, true. Okay.
Anyways, Bond walks into the White House, totally overdressed in a white dinner jacket.
Which is where I'm just gonna jump right in. Which is where we get the first of the deleted scenes. I think we all know this one.
Yeah, the
With
one with
Sammy
the-
Davis
Sammy Davis
Jr.
Jr., yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys know what he's supposed to be saying, or am I?
Yeah, I
going to
don't remember
hijack
his,
your
his-
trivia
his-
one?
No, I really don't remember his entire line, but I do.
There's
really
like they're never gonna find a cake too big enough to put him on top
Oh,
of.
yeah,
And
right,
if you look at it, it really does like it never struck me. But if you look at Sean and like that, it really does look like he just walked off a wedding cake. It's so inappropriate for a casino in Vegas.
It is. Yeah.
So what are you supposed to wear in a casino in Vegas?
Well,
Shorts.
T-shirt?
anything goes. It really
Hawaiian,
it depends a bit on the
blues.
casino, but really anything goes. They just want to take your money, whether you're dressed in shorts or.
We should turn it around. Everybody should wear a tuxedo in a casino. Period.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but
I mean, how cool would it be if you would go to a casino and everybody would be dressed like they were in a Bond movie?
yeah.
That's what you want to see, right? When you go to a casino.
I think
Don't
this
get your hopes
picture
up.
makes casinos look really cheap and awful.
True.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
it's
true.
the location. I mean, before we've seen Bond in casinos, you know,
It's always stylish,
Nassau,
it's always
everywhere.
nice,
Now
it's
it's just a
always-
sleazy little hotel casino in Vegas. It's
Really doesn't make me want to go, but might be just me. Yeah.
It really depends on what you're looking for, I guess.
Do you think that Shady Tree's act is like the worst act ever?
Like the people laugh at everything he says.
It's horrible. He just stands there with 2 acorns that do nothing. They just stand there. And he just yells at the audience. It's horrible. Why would you go?
I thought some of his jokes were a bit, it was like...
He's an artist. He's past his prime. That's why he started smuggling for evil organization.
Probably to pay for his acorns.
To have some money on the side.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway,
he dies.
Shady Tree is killed by Winton Kid. Bond finds him, and instead of questioning Shady Tree because he's dead, Bond decides to do some gambling. He's in Vegas after all. He plays some craps, and his high gambling guarantee attention of Plenty O'Toole. Anthony,
hey, you played this game before.
She's your favorite Bond lady in this movie.
Yep, she is.
Not Tiffany Case, not Bambi, not Thumper. Why?
Not Mr. Whistler.
To each his own.
Well, because she's played for laughs. Obviously, she's only in a handful of sequences, but I really love this scene and the scene next in the hotel room where they throw her out of the window. She's a bit silly, she's a bit naive, and the way Bond reacts to the things she says, I really love it. It's a cheesy sequence, it is, but it's, Diamonds Are Forever for me is a cheesy, sleazy movie.
It is.
I was going to say, if there was one movie to have a gold digger in it, it's this one.
Yeah. This scene sums up the best for me what Diamonds is all about.
I love her line. It's like, why don't we go someplace and have a drink? I mean, I'm still waiting for someone to say that to me like that. It's yeah. Let's have.
This is also the small little deleted scene where they actually have a drink, and like she actually recognizes the one playing the harp in the hotel. Like everyone in that casino knows her.
Yeah,
it's so obvious that she's just interested in taking guys' money.
I have another question mark, but I don't want to be the big spoiler here. But Bert Saxby verifies that Bond's money is good money.
Yes,
but he knows it's fake money.
Yes, and also he shows Bond to his boss through the cameras, and his boss is not Willard White, it's Blofeld, so he sees James Bond there. So it's it's
this.
I think
the story of this movie has a lot of plot holes.
Okay,
it does.
Yeah, but you're totally
but
right.
fortunately,
Yeah.
the movie, the
it doesn't take itself
the pace of the film
too
is
seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you should just enjoy the sequences that you see.
He probably. I don't know. No, I'm not even going to try to explain this one away because you're right. It's terrible, but however,
you'll end up with a rewrite.
So Bond and Plenty have a drink in his hotel room,
or at least they're supposed to have the drink.
Yeah, something like that. And Plenty gets tossed out of a window by the slumber goons who return, and for some reason Bond ends up in bed with Tiffany.
I really like this sequence. That she's thrown out of the window. I got friends at this time, and then he's I didn't know there was a pool down there.
Just that bad delivery, and it's also so weird. Like we said, this whole movie is full of these small weird little things. I mean, the guys, they look very menacing, the three of them with guns, and then this one old guy gets punched in the face, and they all disappear. It's so.
But just imagine Tom Mankiewicz writing this script. I mean, he's probably giggling while writing down the sequence. Like, oh, this is going to be so
this
cool.
With the line,
so
you thought
funny.
with more than just my hands up?
Yes.
Also.
I was going to say, he's probably written this.
Brilliant line.
He probably wrote this scene while in Amsterdam, if you know what I mean. It's so weird and not connected. And
well, you said, Tyler, that somehow Bond ends up with Tiffany in bed.
Yeah.
And then what I like is the camera zooms in on Tiffany while Bond is walking around the room undressing, and you get her face acting with very subtle mimics and that she does, and she's just playing him for a fool. So, good boy, well done. Continue. And then Bond just undresses, and he looks horrible in his tight briefs. He switches off the light. They have sex, and then they discuss picking up the diamonds.
That's a weird. Was it just me? I just thought that was a very weird jump cut. From Bond hanging his clothes on the lamppost to the after drink cigarette.
Yeah,
but usually in this scene you have the small scene in between. It's just a weird cut. I'm like, whoa, okay, just
Yeah, or it pans out, or it fades out.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is just a hard cut.
But I did think
Yeah.
that they have good chemistry here. Tiffany and
definitely,
Bond
yeah.
playing against each other, each of them thinking they're fooling the other one. I think it's
As
nice,
I said
yeah.
before, up until this moment, I think Tiffany Case is still a strong
Still
character.
fine, still fine.
Still fine.
Yeah.
Still fine.
All right, and Bond tells Tiffany that she can pick up the diamonds at Circus. Circus. I was there a few weeks ago, and this place really still looks. Well, it looks like it didn't get cleaned or painted since 1971. It is greasy, sticky, sleazy. It's really the worst casino I've ever been to in Las Vegas. I did just finish playing poker at the Win Poker Room, so the change was quite harsh between the two. But this. No, this is really Vegas at its worst to me anyway. However, they still have the water balloons at the midway. I did take a picture of that.
Have you also tried to win the prize?
It was a $1 a game, and really I was 7 times as old as the oldest one running around there. It was birth control for 5 years, I think, walking around there for 5 minutes. So no, I didn't get to play the water balloons.
No diamonds
Tiffany
are
looks
cool for
like
you.
she's bored as hell when she's standing there at the water balloon. She's like, what am I doing
Rightfully
here?
so.
It's so funny.
I think this is the very moment where she realizes that she's being played. She's the one who's being played. And when she's really, when she gets the card, why don't you play the water balloon? She's really shocked. And here she's like, oh, come on, this is going to take me forever, isn't it?
Would you like to win that dog? That's like the worst dog ever. It's like green with pink. It's horrible.
Yeah, bonus
I wouldn't
question.
have given it to my
Just to
daughter.
make this a
Did
bit,
I just win a point?
No. Bonus question.
By accident?
How many wins does it take to win the dog?
Oh, 20? 24.
25, I think.
24. We give it to Don. Just
24.
He forgot to mention his name.
Yeah.
Anthony.
It's also another really point.
Fair enough. Well played.
Anyways, this doesn't really count because it wasn't on my card. But still, I'll give you. Anyways, Tiffany plays the water balloons, picks up the diamonds, and escapes the attention
Blow
of the
up
CIA.
your pants.
Bond waits for Tiffany at her place, and
He went to the rental car, isn't it?
He waits at the
he
rental.
first
They
waits
lose him,
at the rental cars, and then Bond meets Felix. But again,
We're going to pass on the gorilla.
we're gonna pass on the grill as
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah, strange scene anyway.
She escapes the attention of the CIA. Period.
Yeah.
Bond waits for Tiffany at her place, where they find Plenty O'Toole dead in her pool. Bond playfully slaps the information he needs out of Tiffany.
This is classic Connery again.
Yeah.
They're just undoing his tie. He's sick of all this crap going along. And I think this is really where, like we discussed about the deleted scene with the wigs and everything. But I think this is one of those scenes they really shouldn't have cut. I mean, it's such a major plot point. I mean, this is where Tiffany switches sides. I mean, it's so... it's just so weird now to just have her... Like, what's Plenty doing there? It just raises more questions than
I
it
also
answers,
think for
really.
the general audience that, we just talked about Shady Tree and how his role functions within the plot. I think most people don't notice it when they watch Diamonds for the first or second time. But they do notice that all of a sudden Plenty is dead in the pool of Tiffany. How the hell does Plenty ends up being in Tiffany's pool?
Yeah, that's what
It's
it was.
really
That's
strange.
Well, they
the-
did tape that. They did.
of course,
Shoot,
yeah.
You shot the scene.
That-
Yeah, like I
they
said,
should
that's
have
why
kept
it's
the
such a
scene
waste. Yeah.
in the movie, I think.
Because like when I was first watching it with my girlfriend, she's like, "But wait, wasn't she the one who was?" No, she was like, she was thrown into the pool early. Like, why is she here? What's like for us? We know what's going to happen, but for the first time, it is very eyebrow raising.
True.
So isn't it funny that Plenty was saved by a pool just the evening before.
Yeah.
And then dies in a pool the next day.
I heard it was quite dangerous when they shot this scene, that she was actually tied.
Yeah, the block of cement kept slipping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So slowly she was getting lower and lower into the water up until she couldn't breathe nearly.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be so
Jesus.
horrible.
Yeah. The things
Also,
you do.
I don't
huh?
really understand how that shot of Plenty's corpse got through the sensors, got past the sensors.
No.
But anyway,
Did you know that was the house of Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas's father?
no, I didn't.
And it's the same
I do
house
know.
that John Barry wrote the theme to You Only Live Twice. Or was it Don
Black?
Don Black.
Who wrote You Only Live Twice?
John Barry.
The theme
Yeah,
song?
yeah, lyrics, was it? I don't know.
Was
Yeah,
it-
it was a
Douglas,
famous
house.
was he a friend of Broccoli or?
Probably. Who wasn't? I don't know. I get the idea that everyone knew everyone.
Especially in Vegas.
Yeah, I read that in some kind of hero.
Yeah.
The background book. That was Kirk Douglas's house. Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, Bond and Tiffany follow the stuffed dog that she won at Circus Circus that contains the diamonds. And they follow this stuffed dog in a van to Willard White Tektronix. There
Yeah,
goes
I'm
a lot.
gonna.
Firstly, the gas station.
I was going to say the gas
Yeah,
station. I didn't email this, but I don't know if I'm breaching into your choreograph read through of this film. I didn't email it, but this is also one of my favorite bits. I mean, Tiffany just being such an oblivious, ignorant, horrible woman. It's very very well played. I mean, she knows exactly which buttons to push to make everyone angry and get Bond into the van. It's great.
Yeah.
Anything else about the gas station?
Not about a gas station.
No? You
No.
never noticed that the guy in the car behind the van doesn't see Sean Connery climbing in the van? Or he assumes that that's just normal, that's just what you do in
He's
Las
a great
Vegas?
secret agent. He can do that
You
very
climb
sneakily.
into each other's back vans.
Yeah.
No problem. It's just a bit awkward.
Anyway, this is just one of those bits that I really skip over really quickly.
You mean the gas station bit?
Yeah,
or?
it's
the
just one of
Tektronix?
the gas station bit. It's just one of those the parts of the movie that really slow everything down a bit. I mean, what?
This is where Bert Saxby switches places with Metz in the van.
Right.
So Bert Saxby goes
Yeah.
back to the White House and Metz drives out into the desert to Tektronix, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while Saxby is, in my opinion, a forgettable character, it's not that interesting. I really like Metz as a
Professor Dr. Metz.
Professor Dr. Metz.
Yes.
Could you go away, you irritating man?
All right, so we get to Willard White Tektronix, WW Tektronix, and here we meet the great Klaus Hagesheimer of G-Section. All right, trivia time. Here we go again. How long has old Klaus worked at WW Tektronix?
Oh, done. 3 years.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there we
got
go.
it.
Oh, I knew that one. I love Sean's Bond's opening line. If you have to get in and you have to pretend that you belong somewhere, he starts with the first line, "Oh, I haven't seen you here before."
Yeah, that's a good one.
And immediately the other guy has to rectify himself. Whoa, I've been working here for 3 years. And then I love it how he fakes using the card.
The card, yeah,
So
it's very good.
smart.
They both just stand around talking. They almost forget to walk through the door. It's a great little.
Oh, it's a wonderful scene.
It's also great that he did not just knock the guy or
no, he just
knock him down
thinking on
or
your feet. Very
use some cute gadget to enter the building. No, he does it by being a smart secret agent.
All right, so Klaus Hagesheimer.
and then taking his identity.
Yeah, Bond pretends to be Klaus and walks in on Professor Dr. Metz.
Checking radiation shields.
And he annoys the hell out of the poor professor.
Isn't it just like me? Was it Professor Dr. Metz, one of the most angry people we've ever seen in a Bond film?
I love him. I love
great.
him. Another one of those
Will you
bit parts.
please leave, you irritating man?
But Metz actually wants world peace.
Yeah,
Metz is in it
He's a
for
very
world
ni-
peace.
he's
He's
a
a
very
very
nice-
nice man.
He's a very,
he can still be
nice
irritated.
angry man.
Anyway, Boggs walks around the room a little bit while Professor Dr. Metz is on the phone with Willard White. He sees a cassette tape with the world's most famous marches. And, well, Metz shoos him out in the end. Bond, like he says, he has seen everything he needs to see. And Bond gets caught because the real Klaus Hagesheimer walks in just seconds after Bond leaves.
Faces and all the guys.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Klaus
Literally
Hagesheimer.
cool.
G-section, checking radiation shields. And then, I love
look
that
on his
scene.
face. Yeah.
Don, you love that scene as well.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
And then Bond walks
Onto the moon.
into a fake moon landing, and he steals a moon buggy and a chase ensues.
And the people in the suits can only
Yeah, I was
move
going to say, the guy
very
stays in character when someone
slowly.
reaches.
They're really into character, huh? Those,
great.
And
fake astronauts.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this should be a great chase scene. This should be a great action scene, but it falls
It's so
flat.
underwhelming.
Well, it doesn't help that the moon buggy looks like it's $5 and falls apart if you.
True.
It actually does. I don't know if you guys seen it, but once I think one of the cars like rolls over in a ditch, and you actually see a wheel bouncing around.
It looks stupid, I think.
But this is by Ken Adam, right?
Yeah,
He designed the moon buggy.
Yeah, the thing is,
Did he design it just for laughs, maybe?
I don't know. The thing in itself doesn't look too bad, but it's very shoddy. You know, it's not very. It just drives around in a very plain feel. The cars have repetitive, like even the sound editing is every single time is the same.
Yeah.
Like a throttle rev, the cars fall apart very
It's a
easily.
very
The guys
weird
can't
change,
drive.
yeah.
It's
The cars just.
and then like Bond gets out of it. He puts on the cruise control or whatever because you really need that on the moon. And he tries to steal the trike from the guy, and the guy just sits there waiting for Bond to kick him off. It's just a very poorly acted and choreographed scene.
I like the flags though, the little green flags. They're funny. I mean, make me think of my daughter a couple of
Like
years
little
ago when
tykes.
she was first cycling her bike. And you can see the little flag. It's nice. It's neat. Yeah.
The only thing I like here is because that's because I'm a car nut and my dad actually has a Mustang. Is now just Bond saying, if you see a man in a minivan, just smile and then just floor it out of there.
And well, the moon buggy chase flows straight into a car chase in downtown Las Vegas,
which is also a bit underwhelming.
Again, another scene that should be spectacular, but
overall,
just falls flat.
Yeah, overall, I think that apart from the elevator fight in the beginning of the film, the action sequences of Diamonds are boring and
yeah, they're a bit like the idea is good, but you feel like they're a bit like once described this film as being a bit of a made-for-TV kind of Bond film. You know, it has the elements, but it hasn't got them worked out as you would expect from a Bond film.
Yeah.
Do you know why the streets are full of people who are just standing there looking? They're not
because
doing
it's
anything. Are they just real
crowd
people
control.
that just happen to
They were
be there, and then they
A
saw,
lot of them were.
they're
They
filming
were
a Bond
there,
film.
and-
I'm just going to stand there and look.
And it's funny you say that because one of the
That's the
reasons they
reason,
reshot the car exiting the alley on two
Yeah.
wheels was because there were crowds visible in the background.
Yeah, there were crowds and police cars.
You
and
see
everything.
those crowds in every other shot. So why on earth did they?
No, I think
did
it
they
was
felt
the
need-
you saw the I don't know if you guys actually saw the original footage, but you actually saw the police car and the cordoned off street in the background, so you could actually see it was all blocked off and stuff like that. So
It made me think of Naked Gun. Do you know the comedy with
Yeah.
Leslie
Mhm.
Nielsen?
Yeah, they're very good.
In the beginning, when you follow the car with the siren, it's almost like that the car cuts through the traffic like a hot knife through butter. It just zigzags around all the
like
traffic.
there's no real sense of Bond being chased. He just drives around a bit, goes onto the curb. I mean, all the streets in Vegas and in America are like mile wide, but still, there's no real sense of action. Or
Yeah, we get a car chase in a parking lot, and they make 5 or 6 laps in that same parking lot. It's really strange to me, but
yeah, like I said, I really like the stunt, like the on 2-wheel thing. That's a very Bond thing. I mean, there's actually a couple of Bond video games where if you manage to get the car on 2 wheels, you actually hear the da-da-da-da. No, it's really a Bond move. They actually call it a Bond move, and here it's just, it's a very cool thing. But then they shoot it the wrong way coming out of the alley, and then this weird intercut shot which doesn't make sense.
No.
It's, like I said, very good idea, very poor execution.
And all those police officers, they really can't drive, can
Nope.
they?
No.
I mean,
Worst drivers ever.
Name
Oh
me
my
one
God.
Bond movie where the police officers are actually very good at doing what they're supposed to do.
Next question, please. Is that a trivia question? Because I don't know the answer.
I don't have any playing cards, sorry.
Okay.
So Bond and Tiffany end up in the White House in a beautiful suite.
Yeah.
With the world's most uncomfortable bed.
I love that bed.
It's so ridiculous.
amazing.
I like it how Tiffany has to explain to us as an audience where they are. I mean, she's actually saying, so how
Exposition,
did we end up in the bridal suite? Like, she doesn't know. It doesn't make any sense to anyone.
But those poor fishes. I mean, anyways.
This bed is so
They've seen
outrageous.
things.
It only works in Diamonds, I think.
Yeah,
and
I
any
think
other
so
movie
too.
would have thought,
Yeah.
what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Fish in a bed?
Yeah, it rivals the Octopussy bed for most amazing bed in a Bond
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
If we are keeping scores, I think this one wins. Felix Leiter has some guards posted at the door so Bond doesn't escape and makes matters worse. However, of course, Bond being Bond, he climbs out of the window and literally catches a lift to the top floor. of the White House.
Cool shot.
This is
Very cool
this
shot.
is-
However, I've got a trivia question to go with it. So get ready. Where does this elevator stop?
Oh, Martin. Starlight Lounge?
Yeah, Starlight Lounge.
I'm too old for this.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Can we go
Right.
next time? We'll
I'm not as
probably
fast as I
just-
used to be.
We'll probably just give you the chance to write down your answers, and I'll tell you.
that's
tell you up
Hey,
afterwards.
can we go back a little? Because Leiter enters the room and Bond uses another alias here. He has many aliases in this film. He's Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Bond is in his tux, which is quite nice, I think. And Tiffany wears some kind of feathers, or what is it, like fur?
What?
It's just
What? No,
very
I thought it was just like this
white
fur.
duvet blanket.
Yeah, blanket, I don't know.
Really strange. What I do like is that one of the FBI guys or CIA, I don't know, is called Hamilton. Hamilton is right outside.
Yeah.
Is that is not the same Hamilton as in the pre-title sequence of Live and Let Die? Is it that gets stabbed?
Well, no, it was Dawes was in New York, wasn't it? Hamilton was in
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
But is there a Hamilton in each of Hamilton's films? Is it like his,
Not that
his
I
way
know
of
but
putting
I
a
think
That's
cameo
an
in or
interesting
something?
one. I was going to say,
Yeah.
if someone knows, please let us know. Like, is that a Guy Hamilton thing to include a character called Hamilton
I
in the
don't
film?
know. Could be.
it's not-
It's
We
just
have this
thought-
John
thought it was really
Glenn
funny. And then
Hamilton's
Bond,
Hamilton.
well, he goes on the elevator or the lift all the way up. Yeah.
Both, well, actually, all three of you, I believe, think this is a great little scene. Just Bond being very cool on top
Yeah,
of that
he's
elevator.
just,
It's-
you know, like the guards outside, you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? He just so smoothly opens the window, just picks the flower, puts it in his lapel, and just walks outside. He just, like, the way he actually stands and leans back when he's on top of his elevator, which is, like,
Totally relaxed.
so high up, and he just, like he does it every single day. It's just pure Bondism.
You get a very nice climbing scene as well.
Yeah.
I really like the Python.
Yeah.
gun.
Very nice little
And
understated
also the
score
shot that you
again.
see from Las Vegas in the background.
And the way he hurls himself up, it's almost like in the
Furious
climbing
Only.
scene from Furious
Yeah,
Only.
true.
That he knows how to do that. I just hated that scene, which is really nice. It ends with him falling on top of a toilet.
It makes it ridiculous.
It makes it completely ridiculous.
Which is a shame. I
But
agree.
this comes back later on. But we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, this
You
whole
mean
toilet thing.
the toilet thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the toilet thing. It comes back.
does.
We'll get there.
All right. Can't wait.
Bond meets Willard White, who turns out to be Blofeld. Blofeld has another doppelganger, and Bond kills Blofeld's last double, but alas, of course, the real Blofeld survives. And the real Blofeld isn't all that flustered about or angry about Bond killing his double. He's like, all right, okay, so you got him, but I'm still here. And
How many doppelgangers does he have? Maybe, you know?
I think it's the last one.
I think
right?
that's the...
That's
yeah,
what
but,
he
Yeah, but
explains.
he reacts like he's got an entire closet full of, Blofeld lookalikes standing ready to...
He has a small one somewhere. Oh no, wait, that's a different
That's a different film.
Yeah, different film, sorry.
That film is a bit more serious than
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, it is.
It is. It's a very serious movie.
However, in three straight movies, we get three different interpretations of Ernst Stavro Blofeld. An iconic character, but most fans thinks that this iteration is the worst by far. What do you guys think?
I disagree.
Okay.
Why?
I disagree. It's I don't know what you guys feel, but it's compared to Magacy's Blofeld, it's really a step down to me. But I like he sort of has a weird charm around him. He's a bit, he's very untrustworthy. He's, as you said, he doesn't care about his double getting shot right in front of him. He doesn't care about anyone but himself and his own plan. It's just. I don't know. He just seems like one. I would just like Charles Gray as an actor as well. So
He's smart. He's confident.
yeah, but he's also very, which we'll get to later. Like during the big finale, there's one point I'd like to make there as well, which is also one of the reasons I really like this Blofeld. So I'm not going to spoil too much right now.
I think he suffers from the fact that he was already in a Bond film as an ally. Which makes it a bit confusing. Dicko Henderson in You Only Live Twice, also with Connery. So
Yeah,
that is a disadvantage, I think.
And then we have another character from You Only Live Twice. I don't know if you guys noticed. It's a bit of a non-trivia, non-prize-winning trivia.
Shane Rimmer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
briefly.
with the,
About Blofeld. What I think is that some people say that the CGI scene in Diamonds, Die Another Day, ruins the entire film. It's almost like the fact that this Blofeld walks out of the casino in drag ruins his entire performance. But up until now, there's not much wrong, in my opinion, with his Blofeld.
No, but this is the first time you see him in the movie.
Well, in the
apart from
pre-title.
yeah, but
Pre-title.
it's okay. Apart from the pre-title.
But Charles Gray, so they cast him as Blofeld. Okay, it's not Telly Savalas, but he does what he can with the role. He seems to enjoy himself.
In my opinion, it is by far the worst interpretation of Blofeld.
From these three, or including Spectre?
Including Spectre.
Oh.
And I personally, I really don't like Charles Gray as a villain. I think it's one of the weakest villains in the entire series. I really like him as Henderson.
Yeah.
But I think, it's easy to say, okay, Blofeld in a dress says it all.
Yeah,
but
I'd like to argue that like Charles Gray as Blofeld being bad is more due to the script than due to
No, I
Gray.
don't think he's menacing. I don't think he's not a dangerous character. He doesn't have an iconic sequence, and I also think that the way he dies in the movie is pretty lame.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, is that like
you don't
like he's your least favorite Blofeld because of the script and not because of the actor? Is that right?
Well, you think the actor is inappropriate for Blofeld?
Or do you think the film uses him as Blofeld?
It's also done what you just mentioned. When I see Charles Gray, I also think a bit of Henderson, and that's that doesn't help.
Clouds your judgment.
That clouds my judgment. But I also think that where Pleasance in You Only Live Twice was menacing, and Savalas in Majesties as well, Charles Gray isn't. So no, I just don't like his performance.
What about you, Tyler?
I have no love for this movie whatsoever. So I'm very sorry. Blofeld,
right.
Blofeld is a
let
part
me
of-
ask another difficult question then, because I know a little bit about audio editing and audio stuff recording this podcast. So how does your voice sound like Willard White?
Oh, that's very easy. You just write a script. And in that script, you say, my voice sounds exactly like Willard White's when I have this
But wouldn't it
contraption.
just be the audio output?
Yeah, it would, but like
it's
just
But then what I really don't like
It's
is that he
exposition.
says, science was never my strong suit.
Well,
it's like, really?
You explain it away with that.
Really? After Majesties, where you had your own laboratory and you were doing your own
You're
scientific...
supposed to forget about that movie.
Another reason.
And it's the exact same line is in The Man with the Golden Gun, when Scaramanga's like, I have this whole equipment, but I don't know how it works because science was never my strong.
No.
I hate that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Blofeld tells a bit about his plan, but not too much.
I do like the set in this sequence, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like the most Ken Adams set ever.
It's so cool.
No, I think the most Ken Adams set, we'll get to that in a bit, but it's a beautiful
cool,
set.
Yeah, like the map and the floor and the seats and the staircase.
I also like the elevator.
I love the little lift. It's almost like foreshadowing to The Spy Love Me. Bond goes into the elevator and he just instantly goes to the side, something's gonna happen. I always like to think that whenever Bond gets into an elevator of someone's lair, that's why he's getting he's not being eaten by the shark in The Spy.
I always do this when I go into an elevator.
There's 10 people. You're like, no.
Can I be?
I haven't seen this film.
Corner spot.
I haven't seen this film many times in high definition, but now when Bond was walking around the Ken Adams set, and you get a total shot or like a distant shot from, and you see both Blofelds.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could see that the Blofeld furthest away was a puppet, but I'm not sure.
Really?
Is that like a dummy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw it this weekend, and I thought like
It looks really silly. It looks like they just put a dummy
there.
there on top of his chair, but could be, I don't know. Do you understand why he shoots that Blofeld?
Yeah, because the cat.
Yeah, but why?
He scares the cat, and the cat jumps into his
he
lap.
He kicks the cat towards the...
he scares the cat. I always thought he kicks the cat as well, but he scares the cat.
And then the cat jumps to that Blofeld, so he thinks that's the real Blofeld.
Yeah,
exactly.
Then he
because
shoots
he's
that
the owner of the cat.
That's a cool shot, though, with
And
the
it
Python
is.
gun.
Yeah.
It's the right idea.
Wrong pussy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Bond gets into the elevator, gets gassed, and is placed in a pipe by Wint and Kidd at some kind of construction yard. Bond wakes up.
Cool soundtrack.
has an interesting discussion with a rat about who smells worse.
This is where he has some of the perfume from
because that comes back.
Well, it's probably the most interesting discussion that he ever has with a rat up until Spectre. Bond escapes by short-circuiting the welding machine in the pipeline. All right.
Well, which is a bit odd. Well, come to think of it, I mean, he was already on top of the thing. Why not just stay there until you're... I mean, the thing has to end somewhere. Like, why not just keep on it and just go for a ride?
It's really, it's one of those scenes that I think, why didn't they just kill him? They killed everyone so far. Now they put him in a
very elaborate way.
Here we
I
go.
also love how no one notices these two shoes almost sticking out of a pipe while they're burying it.
We mentioned in the Live or Die podcast, right? It's a standard error from Bond villains.
Let's not just shoot him in the back of the head. Let's
don't kill Bond when you get the chance. No, just leave him somewhere to die and then go away.
So Bond is back with Felix and Tiffany and everyone, and Q shows up with a voice box that Bond uses to impersonate Bert Saxby, Willard White's right-hand man. And Blofeld tells Bond, thinking that it's Bert Saxby, to kill Willard White, who is held captive in his own summer house outside of Las Vegas.
This is a little bit of an important point, something I'll get back to in a minute.
Yeah, why does the real Bert Saxby shows up?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why does the real Bert shows up?
Well, he was ordered to shoot Willard White.
Bond was ordered to shoot Bond.
Bert doesn't know that.
Bert doesn't know. He was supposed to...
And Tom Mankiewicz didn't know either.
Anyway,
my head hurts.
Anyway, Bond goes to the summer house to free Willard White, while Blofeld calls Professor Dr. Metz to speed up the plans by 24 hours, and Bond enters Willard White's beautiful summer house. Yeah. And I think this is the most amazing set that Ken Adam ever made, but it wasn't made by Ken Adams.
I was going to say, it's a real house.
It's the amazing Elrod house in Palm Springs. Like I said, that looks just like it was designed by Ken Adam himself. It sold in 2016 for around $8 million. And
can you actually go there? Anyone know? Is it actually up for a visit?
You can go there, but probably people don't really like it when you snoop around their house.
I'm always wondering, like, people buy houses and stuff. Does the current owner know that they shot the Bond movie there?
Yeah, because
they probably do.
The real estate agent had quite an elaborate video of the house available for the prospective buyers, and of course it was mentioned in there as well. I thought about buying it, but Palm Springs isn't really that near to my work, so I decided against it. But alas,
does the house include Bambi and Thumper, by the way?
Not anymore, I hope.
Right.
50 years later.
But we do meet Bambi and Thumper.
Yep.
Not before we hear one of the coolest Bond themes ever.
That's right.
So cool and understated, and I don't know. It's so amazing how much you can do with just one theme song, just with an arrangement and the slow pace. It's very investigative. It almost makes up for Jean wearing his tie like an absolute idiot.
Yeah, that little bip he's wearing. Yeah. This
it fits the movie. It's a bit sleazy.
It might be one of his. Right, it is his worst outfit in the entire movie, and one of the worst outfit he ever wears. But Bond is kicked around quite a bit by Bambi and Thumper before overpowering them in a quite silly way.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's these two women who were like bashing his brains in, and now all of a sudden they can't swim from under his hand.
What I really like is when the FBI shows up, or is it? It's the FBI, right? CIA. Because FBI
they're working
is
together, I think.
Well, anyway, when the Americans show up and they're like, "Where could Willard White be? I have no idea.
I haven't found out.
Let's wait for Bambi or Thumper to tell us." And then she points to the only stairs right next to them, leading downwards. It's like, oh, we could go down the stairs. That's excellent.
Excellent detective work.
So stupid. So stupid. But
And now we see Willard White for the first time, played by Jimmy Dean, and he's
the first thing he does, he
just
comes out of the toilet.
Yeah, and he almost gets shot by the real Bert Saxby. And here we have
tell him he's fired.
my favorite line of the entire movie. That's Bert Saxby.
Bert Saxby?
Tell him he's fired. And Bond looks at him like, this guy really is a lunatic.
I also love like how he's getting shot. He just stands there and looks at like, well, I'll be darned.
What do you guys think of this
so
character?
stupid.
Is it too much or not?
No, I think he's amazing.
He's great.
He's amazing.
He was famous, wasn't he, Jimmy Dean?
He was a country singer.
But also because of sausage or something?
Yeah,
sausage
or
steak,
commercial. Whatever, yeah.
But I'm not sure whether that came before or after this movie. But
it's part of American history.
He's like probably the most American guy ever to feature.
But also when you see the making of from Diamonds that they made in the 90s or 2000s.
2002.
You see him sitting. He's being interviewed with his big Texan.
Big Stetson. Yeah,
Stetson on his head. It's cool.
Yeah, I like the guy, and he was actually performing in Las Vegas during the time of filming, and that's where they found him, and then they saw him performing at the Desert Inn, and Cubby was like, yeah, that's the guy we need for Willard White. And Desert Inn was owned by Howard Hughes, who was a friend of Cubby Broccoli, and where Willard White is loosely based on Howard Hughes. So it's pretty funny that the guy they got to play the Howard Hughes role was actually working for Howard Hughes himself.
I think it's a larger than life character, but it's not too large. For instance, as we see with Pepper in
it's not
later
overdone.
movies.
It's very it fits in with the film.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really pay a lot of money to be paid. Like I would pay a lot of money to be able to basically just mimic my own boss in a movie.
Yeah, he was quite scared of it. He was like, he states it in the Inside documentary. He's like, that sucker is playing me. I don't like the way he's doing it. He's fired. Anyway, so we're back at the White House Casino, and Tiffany sees a woman with a white cat exit the casino and decides to follow her. Tiffany is kidnapped, and the woman turns out to be Blofeld.
Blofeld in drag.
Yeah, let me get through this just once. A lot of people really hate this scene. Blofeld in drag. I've heard all the reasons why. We discussed this in Live and Let Die as well, in the Live and Let Die podcast as well. I really don't mind it as much because it doesn't do anything to the plot. It's just a throwaway scene, and this is just another double-taking pigeon, which is just a throwaway gag, or in this case, the way Blofeld tries to escape.
I think it was quite clever, actually. I mean, they all know they are looking for white middle-aged men, so, to get out of the casino. I thought it was actually quite clever, and I don't hate it as much as everyone else
You couldn't just walk out?
No, because the place is crawling with cops.
You literally see like a dozen of them running in as we enter the scene.
Yeah, but they're
But he can leave the same way Wind and Kid leave the...
Of course not.
The terrain.
He's suspected number one. They never take the back door.
Yeah, but, I don't want to see the main Bond villain, especially not Blofeld, wearing a dress and a wig. It's just...
I don't mind too much.
I really don't mind it, no.
I just like, as a car enthusiast in me again, I really like that they use the same car again. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're driving off in the same Mercedes that he drove in Magazines when they shot Tracy. And it's also like, this has never been confirmed, but it's actually, they said, with Sammy Davis Jr., everyone knowing everyone, that it's actually been said that it's actually Elvis's car.
Right.
Because, there are not that many vintage, well, by that time, only a few years old, but like one of the most expensive cars in the world. So there are not that many of them around in Vegas.
He should have dressed up like Elvis and leave the building.
Yeah, that's what would have been amazing.
That would be probably the coolest scene in any Bond movie.
Well, Martin, you're
Greg, if you're listening,
you're the car expert from the four of us. I'm probably the Las Vegas expert. I think Blofeld has just performed in the show Divas, which is a long-standing staple of Las Vegas, which is a drag show that has been.
What bothers me is that Tiffany Case recognizes the cat somehow.
I was going to say, why did she follow him?
Or the wig, perhaps.
Or the what?
The wig.
Yeah, it might
one
be
of her
wigs.
wigs.
One of my wigs.
I like Q in this scene. Then we get a little bit more Q winning some money from the jackpots. That was
Q, little
nice.
childish scene.
Yeah, I like
Q.
Desmond is always nice.
Okay, I love the edit, just the small little thing. I just love the acting by Jill. She just gets in the car, she just sees him, and she just doesn't know what to do. It's like she's just as surprised as seeing Blofeld in drag as we are. She doesn't try to get out of the car, doesn't try to say or punch or do anything. She's just like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah.
That's probably what Charles Gray said.
I don't have a lot of love for this scene, because this is also the moment for me that Tiffany Case turns into a
this is
a
really
dumb
the
bimbo,
last
I
scene
think.
where she's
All right. So White and Bond, we're 1.5 hours into this movie. White and Bond go to WW Tektronics again, and they discover that the satellite that Blofeld has been building has already been launched. It turns out to be a diamond-powered laser satellite that Blofeld wants to use to hold the world ransom.
Dun, dun, dun.
Selling nuclear supremacy to the highest bidder.
That's a
like
original
you
idea.
do. Then we get a few silly scenes where things blow up with the
I really like the
Chinese guy.
Great effects.
Fire.
Yeah, that tiny puff of smoke that comes from a nuclear,
and everything
It looks
turns
so
red.
stupid.
Yeah, love it.
And you actually see the rocket still in place, in the background. It's so terrible.
I like all the freaky computers and everything. It's so fast.
It also reminds me once again a bit about of Goldfinger, the sequence where all those soldiers just
fall down.
just fall down because of the gas of the flying circus.
It's a bit. It's rather lazy filmmaking, or
I think
you mean Goldfinger or you mean Dimes of Forever?
both.
Yeah, they're just repeating. Yeah.
They just ran out of money for the special effects.
Yeah, anyway,
it looks real bad.
Bond is back at the penthouse with Willard White, and they're discussing where Blofeld could be.
Well, here, very briefly, here they start with there's a phone call for WW.
He takes it at the loo.
He takes it in the John.
In the John.
He loves to sit on his toilet. It's just freaky.
And I believe that was something that Howard Hughes also used to do. He used to conduct his business from the toilet.
Oh, that's really scary.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Making
Anyways,
millions while having a
Bond goes to Baja.
I don't have a thing in Baja.
It's very random, isn't it, to push the plot forwards?
Yeah, it's just
it is.
randomly.
I'm calling out a name.
Yeah.
I don't have anything there. Why would you even put it on a map if it's a
really
secret
stupid.
hideout? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, he goes to Baja, where Blofeld has set up shop on an oil rig. Bond brings a cassette tape, tries to switch this with the satellite control tape. He fails, a big fight ensues, the oil rig blows up. Bond tries to kill Blofeld.
Really pushing things forward.
But there's really not much more to say.
I want to ask you guys something as well, because this is the climax of the film, and can you guys come up with a climax from a Bond film that is more boring than this one?
No, like I said, the things that I just told you guys
just
is
happen.
the only.
It's such a boring.
They just
sequence.
happen.
Well, there are a few nice things.
There
is the guy counting down. He's
You
amazing.
have a great
and we
guy.
have the 007 theme again, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
that's
And
about
I
it.
like the voiceover guy. I like it that Blofeld is lovingly stroking his pussycat. And he has a few good lines as well. He says, "Great powers flexing their military muscles like so many impotent beach boys."
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And he has another one.
He didn't rehearse that one at all.
Well, if we destroy Kansas, the world may not hear about it for years. I really
No,
like that.
that's true. But for a climax of a film, you want to have some,
Yeah, but there are nice
really
things
good
here.
action
We get
sequences.
One of the redeeming things, though, might be that the big stunt finale that they planned, they were going to do one last run
Was it with
through.
the weather balloon or something?
No. They were going to do one last run through the scene, like one last dry run through, and instead of actually being just a last.
They were like practicing camera angles and stuff like that. I think, and then
and
someone
for some
misunderstood.
reason, someone ignited all the big explosions. So one helicopter cameraman started shooting because he was like, "Oh, what the hell is happening here?" I thought it was a last rehearsal. So all the shots you see of the oil rig exploding is that one camera guy who was smart enough to turn on his camera, but we don't see any of those explosions up close or anything.
I was going to say, there's no money shots. There's no. It all went wrong here. And as you guys said, there was supposed to be a big finale. There was like the Bathos sub and Bond chasing on a weather balloon to a salt mine, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's this that's the final question, Tyler, you emailed, is what would you change? And I said I would really reshoot this entire finale. It's so underwhelming to see Blofeld being killed by being swung around.
Well, was he
into a
killed?
building
I mean, you
very
never find
slowly.
out. I mean,
well, the whole room around him explodes, so he's never going to get out. So he's either
but his
exploded,
bathos up.
he either exploded or he'll die from starvation or lack of oxygen or
So
something
that's the
stupid
type
like
when you
that.
don't
I think
know,
he just
that's
gets
the-
away
No,
in
but
his
that's the point.
bathos.
You don't know what
it's
happens
so-
to the most iconic villain of all time.
It's
Until
such
we
a
see him in
waste.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, where he is once again
Uncredited.
like Telly
Telly,
Savalas.
Yeah.
But
More or less.
okay, few redeeming things then. We get a few good one-liners. We get minions in color-coded overalls, which is nice.
That's always good.
Only one
always a
color,
good
It
thing.
makes me think a bit about Majesties with the helicopters flying around the oil rig, like the helicopters flying around Piz Gloria. Little bit. I like Tiffany Case in a purple bikini.
Yeah,
I
she's
do.
eye candy,
I
but
do.
nothing more than that.
She looks,
was so
she
much
looks
better.
amazing. Yeah, I like the thing with the tape, the mix-up with the tape.
Yeah, but
It's funny though how the Bond producers always manage to get the leading lady into a bikini. Now she is on an oil rig.
Of course, it's the same with Stromberg and Anya. And
They always find a reason to put her in a bikini.
Scaramanga. Well, of course,
I'm not
it's nice to
complaining.
look at.
It is.
It
But-
would have been a great throwback to that if in Spectre, where Bond gets his suit from Blofeld that lays on that's on his bed waiting for him when he gets there, that there would be a bikini waiting for Madeline Swan instead of that
Finally,
dress that
that's
she got.
what's missing in Spectre.
Yeah,
now I know
that's
it.
the only
You
thing.
just fixed it.
I thought it was nice that Bond had the tape sewn into his jacket and it was ripped open, and they didn't explain that. You just saw it. I think that was clever a bit.
I know it's I really appreciate what you're doing here, Don, but there are small moments in the
fact I
climax that
didn't-
in the end underperforms, I think.
Yeah.
That really.
The only one I think is even worse is that of Die Another Day, but that's a whole
That
topic.
has
That's a different
explosions
film.
and stuff.
Yeah, true. Let's get back to that later.
Yeah, but that's like this is an underwhelming scene in an underwhelming movie, while the end part of Die Another Day is just a small bad thing in an otherwise great movie, right?
Like I said before, let's get back to that.
Yeah, let's
Review Die
we'll
Another
get
Day.
back to you on that one. All right.
I like the way Bond dives off the oil rig.
Yeah,
like a perfect dive.
Swan dive.
One more thing. No.
No, sorry.
No, this one is beyond repair. I'm sorry. Bond and Tiffany end up on a cruise ship because Bond always ends up on water with a girl at the end of the movie. Usually he does. And of course, Wint and Kid try to kill him one last time. Wint, I believe it's Wint, he's posing as a wine steward.
Yeah,
And here we have our last trivia question. From what year is the Mouton Rothschild?
Done. 55.
Yeah, perfect.
You
yes.
wrote it down.
I wrote it down. Yeah.
Damn, he wrote it down.
I knew it. Yeah.
All right. So it's 3 for Don. Anthony, you're
Yeah, I'm
000.
I'm too old for this shit. I need more time to respond.
All
That's
right.
it.
Well, we'll figure this out for the next time.
Thank you.
This was just a tryout. Martin, you win.
Congratulations.
With 4.
Eternal honor.
Again, let's just wrap this one up. I mean, Bond and Tiffany are on the cruise ship, being served dinner by Wint and Kid, who try to kill him one last time.
Yeah, I like that Bond sees through it because of his snobism about wine. That's a nice little touch.
I like the shot
like
with
that.
the bottle opener. The
Yeah.
Wint
Yeah.
is pulling out the
Yeah.
bottle opener.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stab you. That's great.
It's once again a build-up for they think,
Yeah.
okay, this is going to be a great sequence.
Yeah.
Final confrontation
be.
I was
between...
going to say big fist fight, but no. It's
No,
just stumbling.
unfortunately not.
I do like the fact that Bond gets the better of Wint. Let's see if it actually is
Tiffany.
Wint. Because let's see, Mr. Kid is on fire and jumps off the cruise ship, and while Kid is while Wint is actually strangling Bond.
Yeah.
While Kid is strangling Bond.
No, Kid is on fire.
Yeah, Kid is on fire. Wint is strangling Bond, and he gets distracted because he sees his boyfriend jumping off the ship, and that's when Bond gets the better of him. I do like that bit part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he pulls his face when
With the bomb between his legs.
when Bond grabs his arm between his
Like
legs.
you do.
And
On the surprise.
Yeah.
such a shame.
And
And then, of
that-
course, the age-old question.
how do we get those diamonds back again?
Yep.
And then
All
we
right.
get the beautiful theme song again.
Yes,
True.
That saves it a little bit.
the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
that little bass riff.
And that is the official farewell of Connery as
That's
James Bond.
the second
Again.
last time we see Sean Connery as James Bond.
But he will return.
And that's Diamonds.
All right. So, time for our grades. I might have given it away already, but like we've been doing.
It's not your top 3, is it?
No. Like we've been doing with all of our movies. 1 or more score a 10. 1 or more movies score a 1, and everything is in between there. So, Don, what's your overall opinion of this movie? Were there any surprises during your last watch
last
through?
month after Live and Let Die, we picked this film, and my immediate response was, "Oh no, not Diamonds." It has been on the bottom of my list for as long as I can remember. And actually, when I was analyzing it, and I took extensive notes, I have like 7 pages of written notes when I watching it now. I really found new appreciation for the film. And I really did my best to come up with positive points during the past 2 hours.
Yeah. You did. Especially the climax part.
Yeah. But it's, if I have to choose, and we have to put a Bond film at the bottom of our ranking, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then this still is my 1.
Ouch!
It is not your number 1, but it is your 1.
Your
It's
least
it's my
favorite.
least favorite Bond film.
All right.
And I have to give it a 1. But after watching it for this podcast, I really don't want to give it a 1. I think it's not good, but it's...
Hey, it's what we came up with.
Yeah.
This is our ranking system, so this is how we do it.
Yeah.
But
Such is life.
yeah.
Such is life.
All right. But at least you got it over with. So everything, it's going upward from now on. Everything
I'm
will
sorry, Sean. I really tried.
Everything gets better from here on out.
Yeah, true.
Sean doesn't care. He got his money.
Yeah, he gave it away, actually. But
Yeah, his own trust.
Scottish.
Anthony.
Yes. Well, Diamonds is also one of my least favorite movies. I recently rewatched it after several years, and didn't improve that much for me. Connery is my favorite Bond, but this is by far his least favorite performance. I don't like Jill St. John. I don't like Charles Gray. Sorry, guys. I do like the dialogue. I do like the soundtrack. So to wrap it up, it's a 5.
5? Wow.
What? You were expecting?
I was expecting
because
significantly
something else.
lower.
No, I just checked my ranking, and there are. I'm not going to say which films, but there are 3 Bond movies that I
rank lower.
rank lower than Diamonds.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, that's the case.
Amazing.
So a 5 for Diamonds.
Wow. Not too shabby. Martin.
Oh, I'm gonna blow this one out of the water then. It's not my favorite film by a long shot, but like I said, there's so much small little things that I like about it. Well, the music's great, some of the locations, some of the one-liners, etc. We've all talked about. So long story short, I'm gonna give it a 6. With the impression that it's a good movie for when I watched it for this podcast, I started after midnight, and that really helps. It's really one of them.
Drunk as a skunk.
No, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is one of them
asleep during the Blofeld and a drag sequence.
No, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a very good, rainy, lazy Sunday afternoon film.
You still think it's an entertaining movie?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I don't think it's an entertaining movie. Really? I made my rankings before we started this podcast endeavor, so to say. So I thought I had everything set up very nicely. I had my 1-1. I have a few 10s. And I knew that Diamonds Are Forever would score very, very low. But I didn't think I would score it a 1. Because I already have a 1.
Now you have 2?
No, but this one scores significantly lower, not in ranking, but in grade than I was planning on giving it. But I think it's a 3, and then I'm being very, very generous.
Ouch!
That's a 3. Okay.
It's a
so what do we
3.
get then? We get 15?
So we get 15 divided by 4 is...
It's almost a 4.
It's almost a 4.
On average.
3.7, right?
Out of 10.
Not a great score.
No.
I tried, guys. I'm sorry.
What I really like is what you said to me. It can only get better after this. For me personally.
I think I'll give it a 2, then we score it at a nice 3.5. But no. I'll give it a 3.
Leave it
Is it
like
then
that.
your second least favorite Bond film?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So.
All right. What's next? Please visit us at the00files.com, which is our website. Send us an email if you have a question of the month, anything to add to this podcast. Send us an email to Moneypenny at the00files.com. Our lovely secretary will read your email and forward it to us. And it's time to randomly pick our next movie. And the winner of our trivia contest, Martin, is the one who's going to pick our winner.
Oh dear.
It's time to pick our next movie that we will randomly select. Any preferences?
We've had 2 70s. I'd like to go a bit further than this. We had a Sean, we had a Roger. I'd like, I don't know, a Brosnan maybe?
Yeah, a more modern Bond film. I agree.
Like Die Another Day?
I don't agree.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
Martin,
you can pick.
you won our trivia contest.
Right. Lucky lady, ladies are lucky. Let's see what it's going to be.
Da-da.
And it is The
It's
World
a
Is Not Enough.
More modern film.
Wow.
Okay.
Pierce.
Be careful what you wish for.
We're going for the longest pre-title sequence in the series. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
next time, The
I'm quite
World Is Not
excited.
Enough. Up until then, James Bond will return, and so will we.
Diamonds are forever sparkling round my little finger. Unlike men, the diamonds linger. Men are mere mortals who are not worth going to your grave for. I don't need love.